every single member of the opposition has put their name to this motion, and it's an indictment that we need a young teenager, and I welcome Cara and her father. It's an indictment of the government and previous governments that 2 years after she addressed a committee, a joint Oireachtas committee, in the following manner, back in November 22, I am here to tell you what it's like to live with a family that has severely autistic children in it. And she goes on to say, they have been treated disgracefully, and I'm here and I am angry. And she's just one of the many campaigners on the ground. And I'm saying that on a day where the Taoiseach was an absolute disgrace and an embarrassment. Yeah. An absolute disgrace and an embarrassment to stand up and know he's not complying with his legal obligations under an act that was passed 20 years ago. And rather than deal with that failure, he says, I'm going to change the law. And he actually says, I don't blame the High Court for their judgment. It was very nice of him. He doesn't blame the High Court for the judgment because they had to comply with the law, but I'm now going to change the law because I don't have to comply with it. And that Act, Ministers, was passed in 2005, and it was passed after the hardship and the hard work and the myriad of case law that led to that Act coming in. And when that Act came in, this was the guide. It sets out to make significant improvements in the everyday lives of people with disabilities in relation to buildings, employment, and then in relation to assessment of needs. Now, it wasn't radical enough to say it's an obligation to provide services, but there was an obligation to carry out an assessment of needs and also to lay out a service plan for the services required. 2 years later, we signed up to the UN protocol, and then it took us another 11 years to ratify.